vitamin D worth taking in pregnancy, and inducing labour. That's breaking a woman's waters and making the uterus contract more strongly. Is it safe? It's an important question, and a large randomised trial has found the answer, at least for some women. The lead author was Bill Grobman, who's Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Northwestern University in Chicago. I spoke to him earlier.
What was being tested was the concept that for many years there has been a belief, really deeply ingrained, that labor induction leads to a greater chance of cesarean delivery. The truth is, though, that it's based on relatively long ago studies for which, and I'm happy to describe why, there has been a fundamental misinterpretation of the results such that we misunderstood the clinical implications.
Well, let's just talk about this misunderstanding. Just to be clear, when we're talking about labour induction, we're talking about breaking the waters and putting up a drip which makes the uterus contract.
When we're talking about labour induction, there's not a single way to do it, but that typically you're right.
So was the problem in the past that labour induction was done on women in distress and therefore it was a biased population? They were already in strife when they were induced?
Well, I think it's actually two issues. One is the issue that you already referred to, which is that so often women were being induced for a medical reason. Something else was going on. Either the fetus was in need of being delivered or the mother herself had a complication that led to delivery being recommended. And clearly those were both situations that led to a higher chance of cesarean. But the other really important thing was that the studies that were done, and when I say studies, I very much mean observational studies, not trials, but studies where people went back and looked at records of women who had delivered, where women who were being induced were compared to women in spontaneous labor at the exact same gestational age. And I think it is undeniable that if you make that comparison, that there's a greater chance of cesarean among women who were being induced than women in spontaneous labor at the exact same gestational age.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know why it necessarily is, but it just is. It's something that's observed, something that when people studied it, not with the clinical trial, but with observational data, that happened, and very consistently.
But these are biased studies because they weren't randomized.
Let me put it this way. Induction of labor is an option. I can choose